Drive Home with Stacey and Jay Spoo, East Coast Radio.
It's time for the Great Drive Debate.
The views and opinions expressed in this feature are those of the listeners and participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of East Coast Radio.
Alrighty, so the question of the day as part of today's Great Drive Debate is, who actually has the license to discipline your child? Now, discipline is the ultimate balancing act, but lately the scales are tipping. These days, we see very different worlds throw in the reality of parental fatigue and the bone-deep exhaustion where you just want to tap out without being judged, and then the lines get even blurrier. So here's the real question when it comes to parenting and taking care of our kids as you drive home this afternoon. Who is actually allowed to discipline your child, and is it stepping in, or is it helping, or is it hurting? Argument number one is as follows. Only parents have the authority to discipline a child because they carry the primary responsibility for that child's well-being, development, and values. They understand the context behind behavior, boundaries, and it is their responsibility to ensure that child is guided in a way that goes along with how they want to raise that child. When others step in, it undermines consistency, confuses the child, and weakens, the parent's authority, especially if discipline is handled differently from the home's approach.
That's argument number one. Argument number two is for intervention, right? On the other hand, some may argue that any trusted loved one, such as a partner, a grandparent, a close family member, should be able to step in when necessary. Children are often raised within a wider support system, and guidance from those who care about them can reinforce shared values like respect and accountability. And when done with care and alignment with the parents, this kind of involvement can strengthen discipline rather than disrupt it, particularly in moments when immediate intervention is needed and perhaps a mom or a dad are not physically present. So as the hour continues, today's Great Drive Debate, the question is, it takes a village to raise a child, but does it take a village to discipline them? Who actually has the right to step in? Send us a voice note to 061-792-9495 or give us a call 087-086-9495. When we say discipline, we mean verbally. Okay? I think that just needs to be clarified very quickly. So on the line first from PMB, we have Caitlin. Caitlin, welcome. How are you today?
Hello.
I'm good. How are you?
So good. Caitlin, what do you make of this? Are we involving people? Are the grandparents in? Just the parentals?
You know, for my opinion, if my child is in your care and they are crossing your boundaries, it is important for you to discipline them. If I'm not there, my hands are tied. It's not like you can phone me to come and fetch my child to discipline them. You need to be the one to discipline them because they're crossing your boundaries.
Because they're in your space and they are now your responsibility. Is that what you're saying, right?
100%.
And you trust this person that you would leave your child with, obviously.
Sorry, say that again?
You would trust the person that you're leaving your child with.
100%.
Yeah.
If I didn't trust them, I wouldn't leave my children there.
Okay.
So with me trusting them, it also means that I trust them to discipline my child when they are with them.
Yeah. See, Caitlin, this makes sense. So, Caitlin, please hold the line. Stay there. From Belito, Tella, welcome. How are you today?
Hi. How are you?
Good. Miss Tella, what do you think?
Nobody in this world ever on any planet or any universe.
Okay, that's a hard no.
End up disciplining the person who disciplines my kids.
Okay, explain further. Tella from Belito.
Okay. The problem is other people do not understand the difference between discipline and humiliation. And I discipline my children in a specific way. They should know even if you do something wrong, you are still worthy, you are still loved, and it's okay to make a mistake. And other people, especially the older generation, they overstep that boundary. It's going to be like when we were kids. Like, you're an awful kid. Or my mom would allow her friends to tell me, stand up or go outside. But it would be like, my mom's not offending. So I think maybe it's a trauma thing, but to me it's like, no, this other person will humiliate my child. So if there's any problems, if they're apart, get them apart and phone me. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Because if you discipline my child, I'm going to discipline discipline you.
Yeah.
It's a very personal thing to me.
Yeah, I get that, Taylor, because what you are essentially saying is that some people discipline your child not necessarily to help your child, but because they are projecting their own trauma. They either had a very bad day, it's a matter of controlling the child instead of helping the child, and you are not having any of that.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yes, and I do not control my children.
Yeah.
They have to know right from wrong with choice.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah, so
we're going to let Caitlin give some feedback. Caitlin, what do you think of that and how it was phrased? How does it land on your side?
You know, if you think about it in this way, you take your children to school and you expect the teachers to discipline your children according to their rules and regulations. The same would go if you are sending your child to a friend or a grandparent. Their boundaries can't be crossed. And, you know, as a parent, you disciplining your child well enough to know that when they leave your house, they'll be well behaved, so discipline wouldn't be a question when they go out.
yeah.
Tello, do you want to say anything? Anything more?
Yes, no, I do agree. Look, school is a different thing. But the discipline in school, there's also a boundary. Like, if my child talks in class and they say, don't talk in class, I'm not going to freak out about it. But, like, if there's a bigger situation, like, wouldn't they, like, say, okay, your kid was guilty, he's going to get detention. I'm going to be in his face and be like, no, tell me what happened.
You want
You know,
an
things like that.
explanation. Yeah.
Yeah, because nobody's going to tell me your child was guilty.
Yeah.
Knowing how I raised my children, the values I put in them, I have a tendency to believe my children over anybody else because then I'm not their mother. If I do not believe them and I do not listen to them and give them a chance to explain to me, then I cannot be their mom. They cannot trust me to be their mom.
Caitlin?
You know, this kind of conversation could probably go on and on for different opinions. But, you know, like with me, for my children specifically, I know that the friends that I have and the family that I have, I trust them enough to know that if my children misbehave, they can reprimand them. And, you know, I'm doing a great job, I believe, as a mother to make sure that they do behave themselves outside the house. But children love to cross boundaries. And when they cross the boundaries, you need to make sure that you reiterate those boundaries to them when, you know, when somebody else is looking after them. That person needs to reiterate their boundaries.
Well, Caitlin from PNB, Taylor from Belito, thank you both for being here. Thank you for being so impassioned. Thanks for being great moms.
Yeah.
And for weighing in on the conversation
Thank
today.
you, guys.
Everybody get home
Yeah.
safe. We appreciate your time, obviously. And we're going to extend this to all parents, all caregivers, right? Because not all people who are raising children necessarily birth them. When it comes to the disciplining of a child, do you believe it is solely your responsibility? Takes a village to raise them. Should it take a village to discipline them? Are you kind of aligned with what Caitlin is saying? I trust this person. I wouldn't leave my child in the care of somebody who I didn't trust. Therefore, I believe that they would respect my child's boundaries and vice versa. Are you more kind of like where Taylor's coming from, saying absolutely not, categorically no? No.
I don't know. I'm a parent. I have things to say about this as well. And if given the opportunity, I'd like to share my thoughts, right?
Oh, you're on the clock. Yes, please,
I'm on the
please
clock.
do.
Right?
Yes.
Tick, 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 tick. So, I am the parent of one times Uzanda Nxumalo, 9-year-old son, and I understand that he can be very chaotic at times. He is a child, right? And I think sometimes what people don't realize and want to remember, especially those who don't have kids, is that kids will always be kids. And there are things that don't necessarily need the aggressive approach when it comes to disciplining. Sometimes adults treat kids like they're adults, and that's not fair. When it comes to disciplining Uzanda, I would appreciate a more collaborative way, right? If you see my son doing something wrong, come to me and say, yo, your child is doing so and so and so. I don't think it is okay. Can you please handle it as his parents, right? I appreciate that because in some way you're not denying me the opportunity to reinforce good values, good boundaries, and good life lessons in my child's life. Obviously, because I know my son, right? I've raised him to get to this point. And I want you to think about it in this way. Some parents have to raise differently abled kids who have to be spoken in a certain type of way. So when you come in and see my child who is differently abled acting a certain way, and you approach it as if that is just a normal child who understands their environment, that is not fair to the child. That is what I call control. That is what I call disrespect.
Hi, my name is Orgil. I'm from Phoenix in Durban. I feel that it's only myself and my son's father that are allowed to discipline him. If anybody else has an issue with him, they need to come to one of us and tell us what the problem is, and we will sort it out.
Hi, team. If your kids' upbringing were right from day one, there should be no need for them to be disciplined by anyone else, period.
Hi, Stacey and Jace. I feel that it's just the parents that are supposed to be the ones that discipline the children. Because most of the times, the grandparents will actually butt in when the parents are trying to discipline a child. So I feel that it's just the parents that should do the disciplining of the children.
Stacey and Jace Boo, KZN's #1 hit music station, East Coast Radio.